Well, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Conspirial. I'm your host, Addison Rose.
And I'm Chingona.
I'm sure you are. We're actually very excited to bring to you another episode because we're actually doing something a little bit different today. We were going to have another topic that we were going to discuss tonight, but due to the news and just the internet blowing up, we decided to put our initial idea off for another week or another episode, and we're actually going to talk about the crimes, the history, and I guess the potential catch, even though he's, spoiler alert, dead now, of the Zodiac killer. So one of the things that we like to do with our podcast is that, I'm sure you know that we don't look at each other's notes, and I know a little bit about the Zodiac killer just from the...
Except episode 1 when you were reading all of my notes.
I read everything. I couldn't help it. If you go back to it and rewatch it, I'm just staring. It's quite embarrassing, actually, so I'm trying not to do that today. But other than like the movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, I know really nothing about the Zodiac killer. So I'm actually very excited to hear what you have for us.
The Zodiac killer, aka Zodiac, a nickname he gave himself,
Classic.
operated in Northern California in the late 1960s. We for sure know that he murdered 5 people in the San Francisco Bay Area between December 1968 and October 1969. An apparently super isolated area, so that's why he didn't get caught. Zodiac, like I said, gave himself that nickname through letters, and we'll get into it right now. So we're going to start with his 5 known victims. His first 2 victims were David Arthur Faraday, 17 years old, and Betty Lou Jensen, 16 years old. High school students Betty and David on December 20th, 1968 were on their very first date with each other at Lake Hernan on Lake Hernan Road, just besides Benicia city limits. They had originally planned to attend a Christmas concert at their local high school, Hogan High School, but at around 10:15 p.m., David decided to park his mom's car on a gravel turnout, which was a well-known lover's lane. Shortly after 11 p.m., their bodies were found by Stella Borges, who lived nearby. She was just walking around being nosy.
Everyone has that. Everyone has those neighbors.
Right? What are y'all doing in there? Do you think she was trying to catch?
I mean...
some lovers on Lover's Lane?
Who's to say? I mean, some people are into that, I don't know what the reverse of exposition...
Before there were Karens, there was Stellas.
Stella. Okay, sorry. I don't know. Whatever is like the reverse of like what are those people who like doing it in public? Exhibitionists. I think like
weren't doing.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, but like the people instead of being the person that like likes doing it out in public, likes catching people out in public.
Exhibitionists.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I was just gonna say pervert, but yeah, that's the same
peeping
thing.
Toms.
Yeah, peeping Stellas. Yeah. All right.
So the police put together that another car pulled into the turnout just before 11 and parked next to the couple. The killer then noticed the car, walked towards the couple, possibly ordering the couple to get out. It looked like Betty was the first one to get out of the car, and when David was halfway out, the killer shot him in the head. The killer then shot Betty 5 times in the back as she fled, as her body was found 28 feet from the car, and then the killer drove off.
So you said 1 shot to the head, and then 5 shots to the back?
Yeah, as she's running away.
God, that's a lot. Some would argue too many.
Yeah, and then Stella came.
Right.
Or maybe she ran into Betty 28 feet down.
I mean, stumbled upon. She was already down. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, like run into.
My bad, Stella. Maybe she wasn't a Karen.
Yeah, she... if only she was like a bit nosier. Like, I'm sure she had that like inner dialogue, like, I'm gonna go out there. And like, there was like that like 20-minute period where like she could have gone out there. Like, maybe she would have caught who we think it is now. Maybe a little bit earlier.
Been out there with binoculars.
Be a Stella, don't be a Karen.
So the next two victims were Michael Mago. He was 19 years old, and Darlene Farron, who was 22 years old. Just before midnight on July 4th, 1969, Darlene and Michael drove into Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo, 4 miles from the Lake Hernan murder site. So 4 miles down, that's where they were, and they parked. The couple sat in Darlene's car as a second car drove up into the lot and parked beside them and then drove away.
Whoa, so you said Darlene's car?
Yes.
So did she drive?
I'm assuming she did.
Break that patriarchy from day one. Let's go.
Alright. So the weirdo comes back 10 minutes later, parks behind them. The driver of that second car then gets out of his car, approaches the passenger side door of Darlene's car, carrying a flashlight and a gun. The killer directed the flashlight into Michael and Darlene's eyes before shooting them, firing 5 times. Both victims were hit. Several bullets passed through Michael into Darlene. So maybe he was blocking her. I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah.
I missed that day in forensic science school.
You know, let's say that he was. Let's put his end on a little bit of a better note.
The killer walked away from the car, but upon hearing Michael moaning, he returned and shot him twice more before driving off.
Okay, you know, that's, once again, too much.
On July 5th, 1969, at 12:40 a.m., the killer called Vallejo Police Department to report the killings and claim responsibility, not only for that attack, but he also took credit for the murders of David and Betty 6.5 months earlier.
I mean, you know.
Darlene was pronounced dead at the hospital, and Michael survived the attack despite being shot in the face, neck, and chest. Moral of the story, if you're getting shot, play dead. Don't be moaning.
Yeah, like he survived. I wouldn't want to survive. I mean, I don't know what kind of normal life you have. Surviving
Finish
it.
me off, bro.
Witnessing a murder, so just so much PTSD, just squared, cubed even.
So now we're going to get into the first couple of letters from the Zodiac Killer. August 1st, 1969, 3 letters prepared by Zodiac were received by the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner. The almost identical letters took credit for the shootings at Lake Herman Road and Blue Rock Springs, so both murders.
Okay.
Each letter also included 1/3 of a cryptogram, which Zodiac claimed contained his identity. The Zodiac also demanded for the cryptograms to be printed on each of the paper's front page, or he would cruise around all weekend, killing lone people in the night, then move on to kill again. Until, this is him, this is a quote from him, until I end up with 12 people over the weekend. So he was like, print this shit front page, or I'm going around killing people.
Or, yeah, cruising down the street.
Yeah, cruising down the street. The Chronicle published its third of the cryptogram on a page 4 of the next day's edition. An article printed alongside of the code quoted the police department saying, "We are not satisfied that the letter was written by the murderer," and requested the writer send a second letter with more facts to prove his identity. Even though the police weren't really sure if it was really the murderer sending, they still published all 3 letters.
Right, out of like fear.
Right.
Yeah.
Of the cruising around and.
Yeah, and obviously, like, I'm gonna go into a little bit with my research, but just coming from like the kind of world of like what we kind of know about just serial killers, like in general, this couldn't have been like his first go, right? Especially if he's dropping. I mean, I don't know how long it takes to write a cryptid message back in the 60s by hand. Like, it
was like with symbols and.
Yeah,
He had time on his hands.
Mm-hmm.
On August 7th, 1969, another letter was received by the San Francisco Examiner stating, "Dear editor, this is Zodiac speaking. It's your boy.
It's your boy, Zodiac.
That's the first time he used that name for himself, and like I said, he just baptized himself.
Now,
Zodiac.
and you mentioned earlier that he like was doing all these like symbols and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Were the symbols anything related to like astrology or
Not
is
that
it
I read.
No,
Not from
okay.
anything that I read, but I'd have to ask him, to be honest.
Probably couldn't.
So this letter was a response to the police department's request for more details to prove that he was the killer. Imagine. Like, I guess what else can you do as a police department? Not prove it.
Well, I guess to because once again, like in the world of serial killers, and I'm not sure how much they knew back then because like the whole profile of serial killing. I mean, the Zodiac is like a pillar. So we're trying to be a pillar of that before they have like the code and the profile and stuff like that. So I guess what else do you do? Be like, you can't say, "Oh, cool." You know what I mean? Like you can't. You want to keep the engagement
How often
going.
do you get letters taking credit for
It's
murders?
It's San Francisco in the '60s. I'm sure it's wild.
So in that letter, he did release more details about the murders that hadn't been released to the public, as well as a message to the police department that if they cracked the code, they would have his identity. August 6, 1969, Donald and Betty Hardin of Salinas, California, cracked the 408 symbol cryptogram.
408?
408 symbols. So I have a little snippet of it. I like killing people because it's so much fun. It's more fun than killing wild game in the forest. Because man is the most dangerous animal. Of all to kill, something gives me the most thrilling experience. It's even better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part of that, the best part is when they die, I will reborn in paradise, and all that I have killed will become my slaves. I will not give you my name because you will try to slow me down from collecting the slaves for the collecting of slaves for my afterlife. And I was having trouble reading it because he like misspelled and had really bad grammar.
Well, I mean, as much as you could with symbols, right? I mean, I don't know what symbol you put a comma afterwards or anything like that.
Well, like he spelled THAE. In paradise, he spelled it with a C. Animal, ANAMAL. Honestly, it's like the way I text. I text horribly.
So, which is actually big news that, you were looked at quite a while for being the Zodiac Killer. So I'm glad.
Was.
Yeah.
Me and Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz, yeah. Where's that campaign?
And they realized I wasn't born in the 60s.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, but, the afterlife and the slaves. I mean, that's so weird. Like, why, like, not only do you have to be a piece of shit, obviously, to do this, but then just be like, don't worry, they'll be reborn as my slaves.
Zodiac, if you're out there, I didn't say you were a piece of shit.
You are a piece of hot, sticky garbage. Is that better?
It's your boy.
It's your boy.
Zodiac.
Bag of shit.
Okay, so now we're going to go into the next two murders. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard. When I write these out, I say them in my mind, but I can't verbalize, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, if we butcher your names, that's
Let
probably,
me know in the comments.
That's probably a poor choice of words, right? Butcher. That was an accident. A to B.
I mean, I took a shot at it.
Boy, oh boy. Roll along.
On September 27th, 1969, at Pacific Union College students Brian and Cecilia were picnicking on Lake Bareness. A white man approached them wearing a black executioner-type hood with clip-on sunglasses over the eye holes. Oh, sorry. So they had eye holes, and he put sunglasses over.
Right.
And he
wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
be mistaken for another execution's mask.
Maybe he had distinct eyes. Who knows? But
hey,
he made the holes. And
I'm
then
an
he decided to cover
executioner,
them.
but I'm cool.
And he had a bib-like device on his chest with a 3 by 3 inch cross circle symbol on it. Kind of like, I guess, how like if you look through a barrel of a gun. I've never looked through.
Oh, a scope.
Or scope, sorry, not
Gotcha.
the.
Right. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, but a scope.
Right.
I have a picture. So this, like, he had it on like a bib.
Way to blend into the park.
Right.
Where's that Halloween costume?
So dude charges them up with a gun and claimed to be an escaped convict with a 2-word name, either Colorado or Montana.
Mm-hmm.
The killer had brought pre-cut lengths of plastic clothesline, told Cecilia to tie up Brian before the killer tied her up. The killer double-checked Brian's bonds and realized that Cecilia had left them loose, but he tightened them back
Wait,
up.
so is this in the middle of the park?
Yeah. Picnicking.
Just...
Your damn sandwich and your charcuterie board there.
There's no one else in the park?
But it's like...
See the guy with the executioner's mask and sunglasses?
It's gotta be a big park.
Yeah, but I'm... A jogger?
Maybe like White Rock Lake. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, but you see people everywhere, though.
We gotta look up what day it was. I know it was September 27th, but was it Tuesday?
There's always people at the park, though, is what I'm getting at. There had to be other people.
Well, here's the interesting part of this murder. Instead of having a gun, he actually drew a knife and stabbed them both repeatedly. Brian suffering 6 wounds and Cecilia suffering from 10 wounds. The killer hiked back up to Brian's car, drew the symbol,
No.
on the car door with a black felt tip pen, which I thought was interesting because I feel like those are really thin.
Yeah.
And wrote under the symbol Vallejo 12/20/68, 7/4/69, September 27, 69, 6:30. By knife.
So it was towards the night then. It was like 6:30 at night, right? Usually like the...
Yes.
Okay, so maybe it was a little dark and not a lot of people at the park.
Story, don't picnic.
And honestly, Zodiac, felt tip pen, you could have like got some like blood on your finger and done it with like their blood. That would have been cool. Step your shit up, man.
No, please don't. At 7:40 p.m., the fucker called Napa.
The fucker. All right, yeah, no. You know,
fucker called Napa County Sheriff's Office.
This is a fucker, yeah.
And stated to the operator that he wished to report. I can't speak today. It's my accent. Report. He said he was like, I'm calling to report a murder. No, a double murder. He was really theatrical. Before stating that he had been the one to commit the crime, so he called, I'm here to report a murder. No, a double murder. Actually, I did it. Click. Yeah, meanwhile, while he's pranking the police, or I guess not pranking it because he actually did it, a man and his son were out fishing nearby and heard the victim's screams for help. They discovered the victims when the police arrived at the scene. Cecilia was conscious and was able to provide the police with a detailed description of the attacker. Sadly, Cecilia died 2 days later, but Brian survived to recount the story. So the final, for sure, proven murder by him. 2 weeks later, on October 11th, 1969, a white man entered the cab driven by Paul Stein and asked to be taken to Washington and Maple Street and Presidio Heights. For unknown reason, Paul drove 1 block past Maple and Sherry Street, and the fucker shot Stein once in the head.
Did you write fucker that time too?
I did.
Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
And took Paul's wallet, keys, and tore off a piece of Paul's bloody shirt. Like, bro, you're gonna kill me, rob me, and then take a piece of my shirt? He was mad disrespectful.
I mean, at that point, why not? I mean, other people, like, fuck dead bodies and shit after they do that. So, I mean, what's a piece of cloth?
I'll take him ripping my shirt over Ted Bundy smashing in the forest.
Right.
After he's killed me.
Corpse Smash. It's my new heavy metal band. It's not.
The killer was seen by 3 teens across the street at around 9:55 p.m. They called the police while the crime was in progress. They tried looking for the attacker that night, but were unable to find him, of course. This was the last official confirmed murder by the Zodiac killer. The San Francisco Chronicle received a letter from the Zodiac, or the fucker took credit, it's a fucker again, for the killing, and dude sent that piece, so he tore off that piece, took it with the intention that he was going to mail this letter to the newspaper, proving like I did it.
All right, he's stepping it up. All right, with the whole proof thing.
Yeah. And after they received that letter, the San Francisco Chronicle also got a call from some guy named Sam saying that he was the killer and he was trying to take credit for it. On November 8th, 1969, the Zodiac mailed a letter with another cryptogram. This cipher was dubbed Z340. It was unsolved for 51 years. Later, it was solved by a group of people who were really into mysteries. It was like mathematicians. It was super smart people. It wasn't like you and me.
They don't know that. We could be super smart people.
Nah.
We could be mathematicians.
Nah.
We're not. It wasn't the same. Was it the same group that where I'm going to get to in my notes who just released?
I think so.
Okay.
But don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, comment below.
Shows you how good my notes are if I don't.
Right. Well, in this cryptogram, he explained that he was not Sam that called and took credit for the murder. So someone was trying to...
Fuck you, Sam, for trying to hop on this train
Right.
or whatever. You didn't put in the work.
Get credit for your own shit.
Yeah,
Your own
Sam.
fucking murders.
Fuck.
So,
Sam
November
I am.
9th, 1969, the Zodiac mailed a 7-page letter stating that 2 policemen stopped him and spoke with him for 3 minutes after 3 minutes after shooting Paul, which I don't fucking doubt at all, because every serial killer has a story. Richard Ramirez got pulled over like 3 times. They were about to get him at a dental office and they dropped the ball on that. Ted Bundy got pulled over a couple. Everybody gets pulled over.
Well, what's crazy about Richard was that being a person of color getting let go, that's not heard of at all. Right. White man, yeah,
if I
can
remember
see
right,
it.
when
I
they
can
pulled
see
over
it.
Richard, they asked him, like, "You're not the killer, are you?" And he was like, and they
Get
were
out
like,
of
"All
town."
right, yeah."
But I mean, let's be honest. With the Zodiac killer especially, there's no doubt he was white.
Oh,
No, it was,
it's always a white man.
yeah,
Always, every
especially with the flair, with the symbols and stuff like that. Like,
He was a white man with a lot of time on his hands. So the Zodiac continued to taunt authorities for the remainder of 1970s by sending letters and greeting cards to the press. In a letter postmarked April 20th, 1970, the Zodiac wrote, "My name is blank," by a cipher that no one's been able to uncrack. The Zodiac sent another greeting card marked April 28th, 1970 to the Chronicle. In the card, he wrote, "I hope you enjoy yourselves when I have my blast," in all caps. Followed by his, again, signature.
that's not even that original. It's almost with like a Celtic cross a little bit. Anyway.
The Zodiac threatened to use a bus bomb soon unless the newspaper published the full details that he had written in the letter. He also wanted to start seeing people wearing nice Zodiac buttons, so like these and a button. He was campaigning for himself.
See, 2006, he could have had a website with merch that people could have bought for, a Kickstarter. Get your Zodiac merch today.
People would buy it too.
Of course they would.
Right, on another letter postmarked June 26, 1970, my birthday.
You were born in 1970?
Yes.
That's crazy. You look great for your age.
Thanks. The Zodiac stated that he was upset that he didn't see people wearing his super signature.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're giving people directions to, like, get into arts and crafts.
He should have sent the merch along with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sent the button.
Hey, go run errands for me. Yeah, like, no, fuck you, Zodiac. Like, no.
He wrote, "I shot a man in a parked car with a .38. He was trying to refer to a murder of 25-year-old Sergeant Richard Radich. They found him shot in his car a week prior.
But that's not confirmed to be one of his.
Well, let's see, I'm reading my notes.
Got a little head.
So he was in the middle of writing a parking ticket when someone rolled up on him, shot him in the head, and then drove off.
Oh, it was a cop. He shot a cop.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, a sergeant. So he, the San Francisco Police Department denies that was the Zodiac, but the murder remains unsolved.
Right, because they don't want the bad press that
yeah.
one of ours got killed by the Zodiac
To
or
be
whatever.
fair, in some other letters, because I'm just like
Right.
some of the highlights. He would try to take credit for certain crimes that like it was like not him for sure.
Okay.
So he was weird like that. So you were like, was he?
Come on, you got to be consistent, Zodiac. All right, we're dedicating an episode to you. Post-mortem.
Yeah, but that's what you want, right? To confuse people, like that episode of Dexter where he sent like.
Yeah, to not get caught.
Yeah, he sent like a crazy letter that mentioned like a whole bunch of things and confused authorities. October 7th, 1970, the Chronicle released a 3x5-inch card signed by the Zodiac with a symbol that was drawn with blood. So he took your advice.
Got you. I got you, Zodiac. Just trying to help you out here. Trying to make you one of the greats.
October 27th, 1970, Chronicle reporter Paul Avery, who had been covering the Zodiac case, received a Halloween card signed with the letter Z. And the Zodiac cross symbol handwritten inside the note. It said, "Peekaboo, you're doomed. Dude is a fucking menace."
I like that, though. That's a good one. The peekaboo. Son of a bitch.
Peekaboo,
Son of a
you're
bitch.
doomed.
Alright. Yeah.
Imagine if you got that, what would you do?
I'd fucking move, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, hey, I know.
But I guess as a journalist, you're going to put yourself in a weird position covering that story and knowing this dude sends letters to people.
Yeah, I just... I get, and like I say, like, I'm acting like getting up and moving, especially in the 70s, was like super easy.
It's
you
not
know,
easy now.
it's not. That's what I'm saying. So like,
move out of my parents' basement.
But I'm just telling you, I get one peekaboo Halloween card. I'm like, listen, boss, this was fun. I'm gonna go cover sports.
Right, I'm gonna go cover
in Florida. So it's been great. I'm not even putting my 2 weeks. I'm out.
So the final letter that the Chronicle received, or I guess everyone received, was marked January 29th, 1974, praising The Exorcist as the best satire.
Like the movie?
Yes, but what's the word?
Satirical.
Satirical comedy I had ever seen. So he was a movie buff.
Same. With our two minds, we could bring him back.
The letter included a snippet of a verse from the Mikado and an unusual symbol at the bottom that remained unexplained by researchers. Zodiac concluded the letter with a new score: Me 37, San Francisco PD 0. Menace.
So arguing that he's killed 37.
Yeah, arguing that he's killed 37, but it was...
Claiming.
Yes.
But no proof.
No. So right here, I just want to show the police sketch that they have of the Zodiac killer.
Got props. Oh,
That's my...
I don't know if we can bring that a little closer.
Sorry, that's my crew drawing.
Oh, why couldn't they catch him? That's crazy. Okay.
So now I'm gonna...
Yo, he's got the same head wrinkles as I do. Yo, get you some. I was born in '89, so sorry, y'all.
So now I'm going to give it over to you, my co-host, because I know they finally identified him. Ted Cruz.
Potentially. Yeah, he ran for president,
Ted Cruz ran for president?
Yeah, he was up against Trump, and then that's when Trump was all, like, making fun of his dad for, like...
Oh, and his fat wife?
Yeah, his fat wife, and then... Yeah, so obviously not Ted. I think that would be giving Ted Cruz way too much credit, too.
You're
right.
Do
you think
he would could do a cipher?
Yeah, do you think he'd be clever enough to... Sorry, Ted. Not sorry.
Sorry, Ted.
So last week, I believe, like, I'm sure y'all saw the news, saw everything blowing up over the internet, that a group of retired FBI, CIA, like this group of people called the Case Breakers, which is a little too on the nose for me. I think they should have picked something else, but get with a PR person marketing something. I don't know, Case Breaker. What are you, Mythbusters? No, leave the myth. No, sorry. Anyway, so they believe they finally...
The wolf pack.
They believe they know who he is. And so it's apparently... And it still hasn't been confirmed by the actual FBI either, even though they have former FBI agents and all those people in there, to be a guy named Gary Post. Now, I've seen Gary Post or Gary F. Post, to be more specific, if that's
Gary Fucker Post.
Gary Fucker Post. So I don't know. I didn't feel like adding the F, like saying really the F, like Gary F. Post. I feel like that makes him too...
Call him Gary.
Fucking Gare Bear.
He's not a bitch that you this whole mystery since the 60s. You're assuming, I guess, a tough guy going around shooting people, stabbing people,
Gary.
taunting the police. His fucking name's Gary. Don't name your kids Gary.
Just your snails. Shout out to SpongeBob. So yeah, the fact that it's only been a week, there isn't really a lot known about him. I've got a few interesting tidbits that I think ties into your part. That I'm going to add just from quotes from neighbors and that sort of stuff. So we're going to dive as much as I can. I'm
sure the neighbors always say the same shit. Gary, really?
Well, no. This time, these neighbors are all like, oh, that makes sense. Right? Like, yeah, it's great. Like, some of the quotes I have here are just absolutely wild. So I'm just going to give you the basic facts of what we know for sure about Gary. He lived in a place called Groveland, California. I also have the county name here. I don't dare want to try to pronounce that. Tulum? Why is there an N-E at the end? I don't know. I'm sorry if I butchered that. T-U-O. Tulumni. The fuck? God. I don't know. It's too much for me. So he had blue eyes, which could have been why he wore the sunglasses with the executioner mask.
So he's definitely a white man.
Weighed 175 pounds.
How much do you weigh?
So I'm actually below...
How much did you weigh in the 60s?
In the 60s, let's see, I was still a sperm in my father's nutsack. So I don't know how much a sperm weighs. Anyone back there? You know how much a sperm? Just a single sperm. Not what it tastes like. What it weighs.
0.2 ounces.
I weighed 0.2 ounces. That still seems high. That seems way. So, and here's a little bit of brief history. So in 1962, so these murders started around 69, you said?
Hey.
I don't know if you're gonna see this later, but like I kept making like these faces every time you said 69, and like I had to stop myself. Like, so in 1962 he left the Air Force. So he was a military trained man. So I'm not sure how much like.
I mean, he wasn't that good at killing. He left people
but it was the Air Force, right? So I don't know how much shooting practice you get in the Air Force. I don't know. I'm not dogging on anyone in the Air Force. I'm just saying, like, I would.
They shoot with like the planes, right? Like,
yeah, like that. Like, yeah. So I'm sure if he was flying over, he would have got him like just right away.
If you're in the Air Force, let me know if this means anything.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, maybe it's
could be. That's what you see.
But in the 60s, I'm talking about the new Air Force. I'm sure they got like crazy shit.
If you were in the Air Force in the 60s, let me know if that means anything.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm obsessed with it. I might wear a button.
I mean, get a tattoo, bro. So in 62, so about 7 years before this, he left the Air Force, right? And he actually received medical checkups for gun-related wounds at a hospital 15 minutes away from that shooting site in Riverside, California that you mentioned. He shoot
himself?
I'm guessing he... Yeah, to get more apt at shooting, I guess. I guess he wasn't careful, or anything like that. So, and this is actually his first, where the case breakers think that his first murder took place was in 1966, so when he was still trying to develop his craft. The body of Sherry Jo Bates was killed on Halloween in 1966, and due to what the case breakers have thought, they think this is later on the sixth murder victim, but it would have been the first. So when he was still trying to perfect his craft, so I guess accidentally shot himself, panicked, couldn't do his cool symbol shit, and bolted, right? And so 1960...
It's like that movie, the house that Jack built.
Oh, yeah, that movie was fucking weird.
That movie, the ending was weird.
So, I mean, you had me going. I was so down, and then... Not the time. I mean, if he was still alive, he could tell us what he thought about the house that Jack built. But, yeah, he, you know...
The movie buff.
The movie buff.
He wrote in about The Exorcist. That really...
Satirical comedy. You know, I guess when your head's spinning around, you're throwing up goo... masturbating with a cross.
Like, he sees that movie like the way we see, like, Scary Movie too.
And that's the kind of mindset I want to be in, you know, to be able to take one on the chin, but not kill people. Zodiac, Gary. Fucking Gary. Anyway, so that was 62. So in 1963, he actually becomes a house painter, and this is a job that he held on to for more than 40 years, which is painting houses. Imagine having your house painted by the Zodiac killer.
What if he didn't do a good job?
No, you wouldn't want to tell him.
What if he was used by slumlords and he, like, painted over, like, outlets?
So, which is crazy about this is because on one of the murder scenes, they actually found a wristwatch with paint splatter on the wristwatch. So I don't know how it was taken, if it was like a not a retaliation, but like a scuffle or whatever. But somehow he dropped or lost. Yeah, you gotta have that precise that killer time, you know. And so also
cut it out.
And so also at the crime scenes, they actually found a heel print from a military-style boot, to which obviously Gary had. So this is not one of those definitive things. These are smarter people than us saying, like, look, these are the reasons why we think it was this fucker named Gary, right? So watch with paint splat, found a military boot, which was his same shoe size that they actually went into Gary's stuff, you know, recently and found.
How do you get into someone's stuff like that?
Well, he died in 2018, so he's been dead for, spoiler alert, Gary's been dead since 2018. No retribution. So they were able to, like, eventually go through, like, his not remains, like his body, but like his things that he left. So they were able to match up.
So they've known since 2018 they had an idea, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it takes a while to confirm, you know.
Imagine just waiting outside that guy's house. Oh, he's dead. Fuck, we can't catch him. Well, we can look through his shit.
We can look through his shit, right? And so that's what they ended up doing. So, and a little bit about, and this kind of we're going to get into a little bit more of his creepy background, I guess, of, like, if you didn't think he was an asshole before the Zodiac stuff, I think you definitely will with this. So he was married to this girl named Mary, and in the 1970s, him and Mary actually babysat their neighbors, Gwen. Remember that name, Gwen. I'm going to get to her in a second. Her child. So imagine the Zodiac Killer being your babysitter. Being a babysitter doesn't make you a piece of shit.
Dude,
I'm
I
getting to more of that.
I would not trust a couple with my child. I don't know why.
Next door neighbor in the 60s, you know, just...
Oh, I forgot. That's when they hated kids. That's when they sent you to the store by yourself at night. Yeah.
Pick me up some smokes. You can smoke one on the way back. Like, thanks, Mom. So...
They give a fuck if you were missing.
So he actually had issues documented with his wife, Mary. So in 2016, so 2 years before he died, this guy died at 80 years old, I believe. So in 2016, he was 78, ballpark. He got arrested and accused. So Gary was arrested for assaulting and seriously injuring his wife in their home. So this is a 78-year-old man beating the shit out of his wife.
What was her name again?
Mary.
Fucking Mary. Don't you know who the fuck I am?
Oh, and I just realized it's Mary and Gary. Like, come on, bro. Like, Jesus. So that was on the 22nd.
Look to be a neighbor and just say, Mary. Like, who?
Dude,
Gary or Mary?
Dude, that old man beats the shit out of his wife. And, like, what are we going to tell an old man? You know, like, with a I don't know. Crazy, right? So that was on the 22nd of February. On the 24th, he got charged with one count of corporal injury to a spouse. And I don't know why this made me laugh so hard, but it's fucked up. Another of elder abuse, right? So, I mean, if you're old
Elders
too,
can abuse elders
yeah,
too.
yeah, like that's
It's a
just
serious
that's
problem in
just
the United
what else
States.
can we tack onto this man? Elder abuse, like shit. So, but he was actually found mentally incompetent to stand trial, and we'll get to his list of afflictions.
Was he into conspiracy theories and murders?
I would love to call him up, or drop him a post card. His last name. Post. So he was, he was referred to the California State Hospital in Napa, where he was later placed under a mental health conservatorship, because we'll get to it later. This dude had so much shit wrong, obviously mentally, but just like physically too. This guy was just rotting away. And we'll get to that here in a second. So going back to Gwen, his neighbor. So due to the interviews that she's given after this broke out, Gary had a son, right? And his son had was married to someone, and we'll get to that here in a second. But
His son was married to someone?
Yeah, his son was. Yeah, so the bloodline's still going, But according to Gwen, the Zodiac killer actually taught her how to shoot, and they went to shoot guns like several times a week. So like there was bonding time with like her and
the
like,
neighbor lady?
like, how'd you get so good at this? Years of practice, and just like it's absurd.
Imagine like all the you think, because he was theatrical and he would send letters, so he was making comments like that.
Right.
Oh, I always get my targets.
At least after the fifth one, just like
Never been too good with the knife.
Damn, Gary. All right. Yeah. Don't tell me to stop shaking my hand. You're shaking my hand with it. So
Target practice with Gary.
And Gwen definitely confirmed that he was abusive to his wife. Obviously, living next door.
And she was still cool with him?
Yeah, let him shoot guns with her. Just like as long as you don't shoot me.
Whatever Gary and Mary have going on, got nothing with me.
Yeah. How do I load this clip? Going back to the son, right? So the son actually married this woman named Michelle. I heard they actually got married, or it was a common law marriage, but they were together for a while, and they had a son.
So he keeps going.
So Gary's grandson, Zodiac 2, the sequel, coming to theaters near you. No.
It's a satirical comedy.
So yeah, much like The Exorcist. So Michelle, I don't want to say their last names because like I read one article that both Gwen and Michelle wanted to keep their last names secret,
Yeah.
and then the next article had their full names, and I'm just like,
and their zodiac sign.
Sounds like a Pisces. No.
More like a Gemini.
See, I know nothing about any of that. So anyway, so Michelle, the daughter-in-law, right, actually claims that she was a victim of harassment by Gary and his posse. So Gary
had a squad. He had goons.
And I'm gonna get into that posse actually here right now. So they actually found.
Were they all elderly?
They actually had no. They actually. So we're kind of going to get into like a little bit of what was the KFC guy that had people in his basement, the clown.
John Wayne Gacy.
We're gonna get that into a little bit. I don't know.
Say Popeyes.
Love that killing from Zodiac. So I don't know about like the raping boys part, but like the whole like he definitely groomed younger men and to like teach him.
The Zodiac.
Gary did. Gary, yes. So we actually found someone from this posse
This is how you beat your
named
wife.
Hans. I'm sorry if your name is Hans, you're automatically a villain. Like I've
Don't name your
grown
kid
up
Hans.
in way too many sports movies and Disney. Every Hans I've ever met, except Hans Zimmer, you're dope. I take that back. He's a movie composer, like he does music and stuff. Did like Inception. Kidding, Hans, you're great. So I actually found.
Do the music for the podcast.
God damn it. So Hans actually told people he actually spent 10 years in hiding as a whistleblower in this posse, trying to get people to look into Gary. He's like, this guy is fucked, right? You really need to look into Gary. And so the posse.
Was he just a regular citizen?
Yeah, so it was like.
And he gave himself. He was like, dude, this dude is fucked. I'm gonna.
Well, yeah. After like a while, you know, he according to Hans, he targeted young men who didn't have a father figure. It was a posse.
Damn, he would have targeted me.
Well, men. Gender is a construct, not saying. Anyway, so he would. It would be a posse of 3 people, but including him, but not including. So 4 total, I believe. And he did a lot of damage, like in terms of trying to conform these people into basically almost like accolades of him. You know, they were burying weapons in the woods, had bear caches out in the middle of nowhere for like potentially escaping
like
and
the
getting
most
off the
dangerous
grid.
game.
Yes, and like he was trying to pass along this type of whatever.
Wait, was
and,
his son in this game?
I don't know. I couldn't find any research on that because I doubt the son is speaking to anyone since this has come out. I'm guessing things aren't going well with Michelle because she's talking.
Shit, I would too.
Nah, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. Let me tell you about my father.
So Hans says that he still has control over him today, even though he's gone. That's the type of psychological warfare this monster. Barring if he's the Zodiac killer or not, Gary's a real piece of shit. Just in general, right?
Gary's a fucker.
Gary is a fucker. Hashtag Gary's a fucker. And so yeah, I just thought that was absolutely crazy. So like you have Hans telling people, authority figures for 10 years, like, look, you need to check this guy out. He's fucked. And then just, it took the case breakers like this year.
He's a white man.
Yeah, I know. So, going back to, so I actually got a deep list. I know I mentioned this before of all the afflictions that he had, right? So I got stuff that he had before he died,
Scabies.
And then I have a list of things that were listed on his death certificate, right? So he suffered from hypertension, osteoporosis, hypothyroidism, and atrial fibrillation and vascular dementia. Like, Jesus,
we were
Gary.
this close for him to get confused and be like, I need to send my postcard.
Yeah. Well, as I said, like, he after beating his wife at 80 or 78, he apparently was just not, so I don't know, maybe he thought, like, he had a flashback to, like, that night. It's like, gotta get that bitch. Like, you don't know. You never know. Like, just never. So he died in 2018, August 23rd, and on his death certificate listed sepsis, septic shock, dysphagia, and once again vascular
I don't know
dementia.
why sepsis sounds like a plumbing issue to me.
Well, I mean, septic tank. I mean, that's a similar. The words share, like they have like a so like septic. If you get septic, like you won't die. Like it's like a horrible thing that messes up like it like rots you from the inside and stuff like that. So his remains were scattered in the Sierra Mountains.
He was rotten.
Yeah, 100%. But hey. Got that new life with his slaves,
Is
though.
very good now?
He's got 3 years of having those slaves that he wanted.
Apparently he had real life slaves, too.
Yeah, no shit, right? And so his remains were scattered in the Sierra Mountains. So if you ever go to the Sierra Mountains, just piss everywhere.
Ghost.
Just piss on everything. Pee on all the things. It could be his ashes. That's my recommendation. October 6th, so...
Damn, what if other people
so
get
nine,
there too, though?
So we're recording this, what, today the 15th?
Yes.
15th? So 9 days ago, this is when it broke, right? The case breakers provided a list of details why he was the Zodiac killer of the things that, we mentioned before. One of which they actually got photos from... Now, wait for this. Gary had a dark room and developed photos, right? So they actually pull the photo from his dark room, and that one of his images pretty much matches that drawing that you have. Those things on his forehead weren't wrinkles; they were scars that Gary had in the same places on his forehead.
Scars?
Yeah, so those could be scars, which is why he was probably wearing the executioner mask
And then,
to cover the scars.
Identified him were like people that were dying too, so he probably couldn't.
Yeah. So like they look like my forehead wrinkles, but they're actually bringing that up one more time. So if you can see it.
We don't have an editor. We don't know how to add
Yeah,
pictures.
we ain't fancy like that, bro. Yet. So yeah, those are actually scars. So he wore the mask. Thinking about this hindsight, wore the mask to cover the scars.
Did he have glasses?
Eyes to cover the blue eye. I mean, you don't know if those glasses were prescription or not. They could have been prescription shades. Did they have those in the 60s? I don't fucking know.
Of course they have prescription shades.
And so also, one of the main reasons why they thought, or why they think Gary is the Zodiac killer, actually goes back to one of his last messages, right? Jen.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to do something here, and here you go with all your COVID allergies, just spraying it at. Totally kidding.
I'm vaccinated.
Same. A former Army counterintelligence agent said that the other clues included deciphering the letters sent by the Zodiac. One note in particular, the letters of Gary's full name were removed to reveal an alternate message. And I tried to look everywhere where that alternate message was. They didn't release it. It's like, yeah, an alternate message. So I thought that was kind of cool, even though I can't read to you what
There was
the
an alternate
what the thing
message.
said. But like,
That's it.
yeah, but if you remove the letters of his name, it became something else.
Oh dang, he's like Lord Voldemort.
Yeah,
So
Tarma,
you
Volo,
should-
Riddle, and shit.
should
Yeah,
not be named.
yeah.
have
So
a diary?
obviously, he was in the military, so he could have had, introspects to Morse code and symbolism and all that sort of thing.
You
Definitely
think
was a
people
smart
with
enough
police
man.
training would put two and two together.
Right. And so, honestly, it's obviously not up to me, but sounds like this guy was it. Like, it's been a long time. He obviously had a lot of health issues, including dementia, so it's not like he was an elderly man anyways. It's not like he's going to keep killing people. He had a movie made after him that he probably saw.
Septic tank problem.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta call. What do you gotta put that stuff in your toilet, that eats like the enzymes and shit? And shit. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of sold on this. I mean, I know we're not diving into,
They're always less interesting than what you think they are.
yeah, like why couldn't his name be Hans? Not Gary,
But they're always just this regular villain, like I guess it's the bad lady from Harry Potter. With cats.
Oh, Umbridge.
Not Mrs. Doubtfire.
Umbridge. No, she was a
Yeah,
saint.
like
Umbridge.
Umbridge. Like bad guys are usually just regular people who are just super assholes, like her.
I want to hear from the kid that was babysat.
I want to hear from Mary.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. She's probably not in a good way, just in general. I actually have no idea if she's alive or not, but didn't really seem important to. Yeah, I mean, I want to hear from the son.
I want to hear from the squad.
I want to hear from the
goon squad.
the posse. I want to hear from the kid that he babysat.
What if he was a really good babysitter?
Wow. Dude, he had the
Why if he
best
could-
ice cream sandwiches.
Like he cut off the crust of my sandwiches, and my mom didn't even do that for me.
Hell yeah, he made me like some toast, and he put like this weird symbol on the toast. Like that shit was crazy.
He took me
It's a little
shooting.
weird. Yeah, it took. So yeah, obviously with his military training too. Thank you for knew how to shoot. But like I said, did he? He was a nervous little guy. I don't know what he did in the
How
military.
tall is he?
Like I said, there's not. I couldn't even get that how tall he was.
No?
I mean, he was a $175, so I'm guessing not tall.
What was
You
his last
can't-
name? Post?
Post, yeah, Poste though. But like, out of all, and like I said, it's been a little bit more than a week. I'm sure over the months, and maybe we'll do like a part 2 on this guy coming out. But there's just not a lot on it right now. I don't think that's the man. Yeah, that's.
No. I
yeah.
bet you he was under 6 feet.
Oh,
Bet you he
100%.
had that little
Well, yeah,
monster.
he couldn't fit in the plane. You couldn't fit you can't fit if you're above you can't be that tall to fit in the plane. So yeah, he's got to be.
Bet you he had that little min symbol.
Yo, send me a postcard. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think Gary could be it?
I think Gary could be it. It seems really boring if it was Gary. I like it better when they're not found.
You done bored us, Gary.
He just sounded like an asshole.
Oh yeah. What, I mean, you can't. I mean, I don't know.
It's like you think it's the boogeyman under your bed, but it's really just your asshole older brother.
It's
That's what I
really
feel
just
like.
fucking Gary.
It's just fucking weird kid Gary from next door.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess don't pick on Garys, or anyone for that matter.
He was really mad at couples because he targeted couples.
Yeah, fucking Mary wasn't giving it to him.
Was he married to Mary?
Yeah, they got married in the 70s.
Oh, they got married in the 70s.
Gary married Mary in the 70s.
No, he married Mary after. All the killings were in the 60s, late 60s. And then the 70s was the last letter.
Oh, I see.
Well, fuck, she tamed him. She took it all for the rest of us.
Yeah, he put all
Shout
that
out
anger
Mary.
into beating the shit out of Mary for the rest of their fucking life or whatever. So yeah, absolutely crazy. So I do like that we actually kind of get an answer to this, even though that he's dead.
I
It
like
fucking
this series
sucks.
better.
I wish he could fucking do his time though. But
Like the Golden State
No.
rapist.
yeah, we should do one on him eventually.
He was boring too.
Or let us know. Let us know what you want us to do. You know, we're pretty
Email
open.
us at conspirio@gmail.com.
Yeah, CONSPIRIAL.
DM us at conspirio_podcast on Instagram. Send us messages on TikTok at conspirio_podcast, I hope. That's usually your line.
Yeah.
Follow me at
fucked
Anna
up.
Dez. Anna ANNADEZ on Instagram. Do you want to drop your app?
I have an Instagram that I just follow you. I don't post anything on it. That's it. Find me on Facebook, I guess.
Addison Rose Comedy.
Yeah, Addison Rose Comedy. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching us.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Share. Please share.
Please share.
We're trying to get uploaded
We
on.
got 90 views our first video and 20 our second one. Even
Yeah.
if you want to hate watch us, hate watch.
Yeah, and please share. You know,
Talk
we're
shit in the comments.
we're trying to get uploaded to Spotify, Apple,
Google
Podcasts, all that stuff, and more shares help with that. So please share. Let us know what you think.
Like and subscribe.
Please like
Hit
and
the
subscribe.
notification bell.
Absolutely.
We'll
Yeah.
be back next week.
We'll be back. Thank y'all for stopping by. Later.
Bye.